afternoon, beautiful people. This is your Matthew host. This is your host, Matthew, from Day and Night Podcast, episode number 64. So we got another good one for you. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the last couple of episodes. So Mark is back with us. He's going to lead us off today. But as always, like, subscribe, comment if you can, share if you can. And remember, you can check us out. You can see us again on Wednesday, and we'll be on Spotify as well on Wednesday. And just check the link in the bio for the Spotify address. And all right, let's get into it.
All right. Well, hello everybody. How y'all doing? Like Matt said, I had to take a little absence, but I'm back and I'm glad to be back. And this is going a little different direction because I know Matt been having a lot of wonderful, guests on, a lot about spirituality, about business, and everything you could basically cover. So today's show is going to be more or less geared towards African Americans. So I'm trying to make it not too direct, but it's going to be relevant what we're going to talk about. But it's just something that's been kind of gnawing at me for the last month or so. So basically, it's going to be me more of a rant, I guess, kind of voicing how I feel. So I'll be more open and transparent today. So it's just going to be something how I feel about as Black people. And I have a problem. So let me start off first by saying we came a long way. So I will agree. So I'm not going to come across today as if I'm not going to acknowledge or be aware that it's a lot of us that are out there that support each other, love each other, respect each other. So I'm not going to try to sound one-sided and make it seem like we ain't doing nothing as a culture or community, as a race, that we aren't doing right by each other, because we are. So I will say that, and I am aware of that. But it's always a flip side, guys. There's always two sides to everything. So my problem is I have a problem with us supporting each other and being there for each other. And I know we are, but to a certain extent, this is 2024. I believe we could go a whole lot further and be able to be more successful than we are, because there's a lot of us that are successful. That's how I know for sure that it's not all of us. So, like, again, I'm going to say about 50-50 if you want to put a number on it, a percentage. Now, one thing that struck me, and this is what's going on in society today with a lot of these stars and actors and even athletes. So I'm going to get into that. But the first thing I'm going to start off with, and Matt, give me time because I might rant a little bit. It might take a long monologue on what I'm about to say. But like I said, the thing that bothers me when I say we as a race need to support each other, which we do, but it's also a lot of us where we have a problem where we don't support each other. I mean, business wise, it doing stuff in the house, even in family, just, basically across the board, as far as supporting each other and being there to see them, to be happy for them, whatever it is they succeed in, and not have any kind of animosity or even jealousy towards them. I get it. Everybody has it. I'm not sitting here saying that you can't be that way. It is something wrong with it, but I just believe we should come a little bit further than we have as far as supporting each other. And the reason why I'm saying I'm here in San Antonio, it's not diverse like we were back in Philly where we grew up, or some cities. It's predominantly majority Hispanics. But being here for 32 years, I've watched how they have problems. Don't get me wrong. They have problems like anybody else, against each other. They try to kill each other or have hatred just like any other race, or as Black folks as well. But on the flip side of that, and being married to Hispanic or Mexican, whatever you want to, how you want to, word it. And when I say they support each other, they literally live in a house, 4 or 5 of them. Now, that may not appease to everybody. I'm not saying that's the way you're supposed to live. But one thing I've noticed is they will support each other financially to get to the bigger picture. Whatever it is, if they try to open a business or if they have a business, they all pitch in, they all support each other, and they help it grow to the point where when they venture off, the next one they move out and they go and they keep expanding. And they do that to the point where they support each other. They have a little community where they all pitching in. Now, like I said, it's both sides. They just, they have the issues just as much. I noticed that with Asians as well. They do the same thing. When I worked in a plant, it was a bakery, and there's a lot of Asians that worked in there too. and they all lived at home. And I always thought that's crazy. How the heck can all y'all live together? But they all again chipped in. But one of them was trying to, open a business, so they all put into that pot. They all just supported each other to help them get up that ladder. So I always admired that and said, "Wow, that's neat that they could do that." Now, again, I know a lot of us as Black folks we do that too, but it's a lot of us where we throw hate on each other. We feel like we got something negative to say towards each other. We don't support them and let them and help them grow. Now, I will say this because I might get pushback where people may say, well, just because they Black doesn't mean that you got to support them because they could be somebody that's just not legit. But I will say this for myself personally, I make a valid effort if it's Black owned first. Like Matt, you always say this, and I kind of got that from you: is research, make sure that the business is legit, which I think most people would. It's not that you question it, but you want to make sure that whatever you get in a product from or whatever it is legit. So I will say that first and foremost. But at the same time, if it's Black owned, I would try to put my money back into a Black community to help them support their business if it's an entrepreneur. Because I'm a firm believer on if you got three people selling the same thing, this is a perfect example. And you go to, let's say it's a white guy, Asian guy, Hispanic guy, and I've seen this happen. And if anybody out there, if y'all seen this, please, let us know. It's been many times where I witnessed a guy, brother, I went, oh man, I ain't buying that for him. That shit probably stolen, or it probably ain't real, or it's whatever case, it was an excuse. But then he go buys the same merchandise from the white guy, and for whatever reason, it seems like, oh, because this white guy is more trustworthy, it got to be legit, or it's not stolen, and then they tend to give them the money instead of giving to their own and help them grow so they can, get bigger and better in their business. And I feel like that's across the board, whatever small little business it is, I see that a lot. So I'm a firm believer in supporting our own. Again, it's nothing against other people that's out there that's trying to come up, but why not support ourselves first? I see other races do it all the time, and it's not a problem. So we need to do that. Again, I know we are, but I feel like we need to do a little bit better. And that's just something that's been sticking with me. And I'm gonna share one story, then I'm gonna let you go, Matt. Then I'm gonna come back on this thing that's going on in the public eye. And I have a lot to say about that. And I know one thing you're gonna say, Matt, before you say something, you're gonna say, and I hear this a lot, we was programmed like this.
You already know it, brother.
You know what? And you know what? I hear that, and I saw that on a podcast the other day. I forget which guy it was, but he said the same thing, that we are programmed to not respect each other and treat each other right. We have pushback. Now I agree with that 100 with everybody that says that, but this is where I have a problem with that. And man, you probably heard me say this numerous of times, and everybody that know me know that this is what I said. I'm a trainer, okay? I'm an entrepreneur. I'm trying to promote my business. I'm trying to get my name out there. But that's just like me telling a guy to eat right, nutrition-wise, and I know everything about nutrition, and I say, well, you've been programmed before, you don't eat right, but I'm not doing anything to change what I'm doing to help myself or anybody else. So I get it. We are programmed, but this is 2024. That was our generation when we was programmed like that. So we need to change that. The ones that know. Now speaking on everybody that says that it was a program that we've been, brainwashed, manipulated, and that's true. But what are we going to do to change that now? And I know it's not going to be easy. I'm not sitting there saying it's going to change overnight. But I believe that we realize that, and we know that this is what we need to do affirmative action to change that in the young group or the young youth. My grandson, granddaughters, those are the ones that's going to be more affected because we're older now. So we can only pass the torch. So we got to start teaching the younger generation to have more of the Black pride and support each other, because the programming was us. Now, even though it's still going on, I'm not saying it's not happening now, but the ones that's conscious and known is the ones that I feel like got to hold more accountability, because there's nothing worse than knowing something and not doing nothing about it. Now, teachers know, I'm not saying that nobody's not doing it, but the ones that are, like Matt, I know you are, I know, Black friends that that I'm affiliated with that are doing it, but I'm just speaking on the individuals that speak on it, but they literally ain't doing anything but just talking about it. So that's where I stand. So I'm gonna let you go, Matt. And I know you got a lot to say too. So I'm gonna take a pause for a minute.
All right, so that's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
So as far as with the support thing, I'm with you 100%. We don't, in my opinion, support each other. And I know you don't like it, but unfortunately, we have been programmed. And the thing with that is the programming hasn't stopped. I mean, it started with us and our, ancestors before that, but it still hasn't stopped. It's still going on currently. So, and I think the reason why I use it is because to solve something, it has to be identified.
Right.
So that's probably just a way of saying brainwash. It's just a new word. It's just a new buzzword.
Right.
Before it was brainwash, now it's more program because everybody's into the matrix and stuff like that. So that's where probably everybody is using it. But the sad thing about it is it's true.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't want to get too far off topic.
Right.
But as far as with the support thing, and I've been thinking about this the entire week. And even before you came up with this topic, I was still thinking about it.
Right.
And the thing with us, as far as Black people, compared to anybody else, even though we are the original people, whether people believe it or not, if they want to accept it, we are the original people. Everybody basically came from us, came from the Black woman. And if you look across the globe, Black people have their footprint in every aspect of humanity. So, and this is what I'm getting to. What makes us unique is because we have a variety of different types of Blacks or Black people. If you look at, I mean, you can say Asian, they got Japanese, they got Chinese, they have Korean, but we still dominate that. And even if you look at the United States, we got different shades of Black.
Right.
We got different type of groups or different ideologies, different beliefs. So because we have so many different aspects, it's going to be harder, in my opinion, to come together as one because there's so many differences within that. So I look at it like it's a pie. I don't know if you ever seen the cheesecakes like at HEB and they got the different varieties of cheesecakes.
Right. Yeah.
That's how I see us. So in my opinion, I feel as though it's more of a challenge to bring everybody together because there's so many different, like I said, so many vast difference of personalities and beliefs and ideologies and stuff like that. So it's going to be harder to come together as one and support each other along with the programming. And that's why the programming was put out there because they knew. Right. When I say they, I'm speaking of the powers that be, corporations and stuff like that in government. They know the truth. So in order to keep us from being back in charge, if you want to say that, they have to keep us separated. I mean, the world is separated within itself anyway, but how do you keep the original person, the original man, so to speak, to not grow and dominate like they were when time began? So you have to separate them. And I want to sound like I'm being negative. I just don't see it actually happening. I don't see it coming to a point to where we're just 100% together because there's so many differences. And it starts with the programming. So like you were saying, it starts with us now. But if you look into it, just like what we're about to get into now with the celebrities going at each other, so like when does it stop?
Right.
Yeah. And that's part of the programming in itself is allowing that stuff to happen.
Right.
And constantly putting it out there. And we're guilty of it because we promote it. What most of us do, we get on our social media sites and we repost and we talk about, what happened. So you just continue to let that fire grow.
Right. Yeah. So you hit the nail on the head. You always steal what I'm about to say, David. That's why I try to dominate the conversation. No, but just to go backwards, like you true on what you're saying. So it's going to sound like pushback on the programming. So like I said, I'm 100 on that. But I think the part where I'm saying that I'm different on that is like you said, we got to acknowledge it, recognize it. What are we going to do is going to be hard. That's why I say it's going to be a hard subject
Mm-hmm.
to tackle. I say it just comes in individual self evaluation of how you feel. So this is where I'm gonna start giving you guys examples. So one example is this: if you ball, if I hate saying balling, but if you're doing good, you're successful, you got another person partner that you don't know that's successful. Both of y'all doing good for each other, and y'all both got entrepreneurs. Let's use that example. You both trying to come up, and you say, "Hey, I need you to support me, man. I got this company or business, whatever I'm doing. I would really love your support and helping me push this." Oh yeah, I got you. I help you out. I'm all about helping our own people. And then they turn around and renege and don't help and just don't do it for whatever reason. So the problem that I'm having with that, what I'm trying to make is, why do you do that? Why do we do that to each other when we both are coming up and we both understand each other that we're trying to make a business? So why not support each other? Now, the old term, all crabs in a barrel, is where they really put us and how they program. They put us all in there, so we all try to come up. So what we do, we dog the next one just so we can get to the top of the ladder. I get that when it's crabs in a barrel, but I'm speaking again on everybody that's already made it, so to speak, and we don't even support each other on that level. That's where I have a problem. Now, I don't want to put this out here because I'm gonna kind of contradict what I'm saying later about supporting each other and how these celebrities clowning each other. But like I said, I'm a trainer, right? You know this, Matt. So I had a client, cool brother. He's from Philly like us. And this is one problem I have too, is we have this notion, oh, come on, help me out, man. We both black and you're supposed to take care of me. That's my biggest pet peeve, is just because we are black, we supposed to help each other. I know y'all thinking, well, what are you talking about? Makes sense because you just say we support each other. I'm meaning on the aspect of, because you're black, you're supposed to help me and give me a pass and just, help me out. So that's I don't agree with. You shouldn't do that. If you're trying to do something right, positive, then yeah, I'm gonna support you, but I'm not gonna do it where you're trying to get over on me and take advantage of me because we are both brothers. That's why I have a problem with that. And it's a lot of that goes on. I mean, I see it just as simple. The other day I was in a line and a dude comes up, yo, man, help brother out, man. Let me get in line. I'm trying to go. Okay, so I'm just gonna let you butt in, get in front of me so you can hurry up and go where you gotta go. Oh, come on, man. You ain't gonna help a brother out like that? I'm like, that's what bothers me, is we want help from each other when it's to benefit themselves. Now, if you try to benefit yourself again to do something positive in the community or do right, I don't have a problem helping you. But you're trying to do it to get it over for yourself, but you ain't helping nobody else but yourself. And that's being selfish. That kind of selfishness, I don't agree with. So the example again, back to my client. So like I said, he has his own business, and we even talked about this, and this is where I got really upset. Is we both, like you and I doing, yeah, we need to support each other. We both agreed it's programming. I mean, to a T, we was on the same page. And then he's like, I understand, because I told him, I said, look, one thing about my training, I charge up front for the simple fact that I've been burned before, and my business accountability. So if you want to hold yourself accountable, you're going to pay up front. And by you doing that, if you're really serious, you want to come every training session because you just paid all that money and you don't want to lose it. Yeah, that's a great idea. That's smart, man. I got you. I won't do you like other people, because I hate it when people do that, because I go through that in my business. So when you give me a script like that, and then he paid me once, and then after that, oh, the next time, bro, I got you. I got stuff going on. And mind you, he went on 2 vacations in that process of me training him. I kept giving him the pass. Why? Because we brothers and we from the same city. And I'm like, okay, he's got his business, I got mine. And yeah, I know people might be like, well, that's your fault for trusting him, even black or not. You should know better business-wise, which is true. But I gave him an exception to the rule. And then finally, he just kept making excuses and excuses. And I said, look, man, you told me from the beginning, you understood, we both agreed that this is not good to do this to each other. Where if it was another guy, if it was a white guy or a Hispanic or whatever, you'd be paying him. But for me, for whatever reason, you can't. Now, I'm going to use the example of why I say why this is true. I had a client, I told her, never met her. I said, I'm going in the transition of doing online training. So if I train you, you have to pay me. And I said, I told all my clients, my deal was you pay up front. Okay, well, I just need some workout. I said, okay, This is how much it is. With no hesitation, sent me the money the same time we talked.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the difference? I never met this woman. We talked via text, email, but we never actually physically worked out. And I had this brother that I've been training for 5 months, paid me once, and had every excuse under the sun. So that's where I come at, where it bothers me when we do that to each other. And he never said, "Oh, we brothers, man, come on," but he had the intentions, the way he acted about that, and that's where I have pushback. Is where we got to stop doing that. Is yeah, we want to help each other, but don't be to the point where it's just selfish help for yourself, but you ain't trying to help nobody else. That to me, I don't agree with that. I feel like that's part of our problem. Can that be resolved? That could be resolved. I feel like that's something, again, self-evaluation. Some brothers or sisters that see another person that's building that business might have a little envy, jealousy.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to throw hate at you, so they're not going to support you, even though they say they will, but they want to come up faster than you, so they're going to give you pushback. So, I mean, it's just, if you know and feel good about yourself, I'm happy when somebody else is doing good as a brother or sister. And I mean that 100%. I'm not sitting here saying that this will be on this podcast. If I see a brother or sister, 2 brothers from Philly that moved out here that opened their business for the Italian water ice and pretzel. And he's like, "Yo, man, I'm trying to come up, man. Can you help us out?" I said, "Man, I'm from Philly too." So we chopped it up like, "Yo, that's cool." I said, "Yo, I got y'all back. I'm going to support y'all. I put them on social media. Every time I bought a pretzel or a Italian voice, I share it." And he's like, "Man, can you do me a favor? Can you share this post?" That to me is supporting each other. Mm-hmm. When you putting them out there so they can get known out in the city because they're new to the city. Now, like I said, it's not knowing none of us is doing it. That's what I mean for a perfect example how we could do more of that. We're doing it, but it could be so much more. To allude to your point, Matt, we could kind of rule, take over, whatever gerbiage you want to use, but like you said, they put so many obstacles in our way to prevent that because they know once we band together, there's no stopping us. But that's where it comes, well, we got to hold ourselves accountable. And we speak on it, and then that's what I'm going to get onto next about all this crap that's going on with all these celebrities. And I'm going to want to hear what you have to say about that.
Okay, so I hear what you're saying, and I have a different perspective just for the simple fact that I went through the MBA program at Strayer. So I see it from that aspect, and then I see it from just like someone that's starting the business.
Right.
The biggest thing for me, now, this is no knock on any Black business. There's a lot of good, successful Black businesses out there all across the country. And here in Atlanta, it's just so happened that, I've come across some that it's like somebody just had an idea, well, I'm going to run a business, but don't know how to run a business. And for me, it's hard to support somebody that don't know what they're doing. It's too many businesses that I've been to that are Black owned that don't have a clue. The customer service is terrible. The cleanliness is terrible. So it's like, okay, and then it goes back to what you were saying. So do I suppose to support you just because you're Black like I am, or I'm supporting you because you're actually a good business and you're putting out good product? So it's like, I refuse to help you. I don't care what color you are or what nationality, ethnicity, or whatever. I'm not going to support you if you're a terrible business owner and have terrible customer service. And this one, and I'm pretty sure you've seen, I'm going to put his name out on blast, the Yaki Awaken dude. So I dealt with them in the past, and every time, now he put it on his website. I give you that. He said it could take up to 6 weeks because they have a lot of orders they have to fill. And if you don't receive your order in 6 weeks, then that's why. I have no qualms with that. But 6 weeks passed by. So I sent the email and said, look, it's past 6 weeks. I think it was like right around 4 or 5. And so I got a response back. And it was like, well, we already told you that it takes about 6 weeks. So just be patient. I was like, okay. So I waited. 6 weeks went past. 7 weeks, 8 weeks, still nothing. So I put another email. I said, look, I'm not asking you for a refund. I'm telling you I want a refund. And that's what I have issue with. that's terrible customer service. If a customer is not happy and they're saying, look, I want to move on, I don't want your product, you can't hold them hostage and say, nope, you're going to wait until we fill it.
Right.
So it's been past 6 weeks. It's going on almost 2 months and nothing. So they sent the email back and I was like, I'm sorry, brother. Appreciate it, brother, for your patience, but I can't promise you when it's going to be filled, but the invoice is being filled. I'm like, it's been 8 weeks. So, you know, my favorite organization I like to contact, which is BBB.
BBB, yeah.
So I did a complaint. And so basically what I'm saying is, yes, we should support each other, but do we support each other in the name of terrible customer service and terrible business? Yeah. And I just see so many of us, not like I said, not all, but a lot. Unfortunately, they don't have a clue how to run a business. Yeah. And so they just out here, and again, just putting out terrible customer service and a terrible product. Or if the product is good, the customer service is unbearing. Like, I can't deal with it. So that's what I see. And I can't speak for everywhere because I'm not in every city. Right, but as far as here, like I said, there's some real good Black businesses here that's really, really good. Good customer service, cleanliness, everything. But I'm just speaking on a lot of times that's part of it. And I'm pretty sure you heard this too. Why do we always jack up the prices? Like, why is it every time a Black person have a business, the price is like 10 times more than the other business? I get it. I know why, because like I said, I went through the program. I know what they're trying to do and why they're doing it. But it's just like, okay, why do you have to do it? You don't have to price gouge just because, well, I'm Black owned and we don't have that much support. So we got to get as much money as we can while we can. And I think a lot of times that's part of that mentality.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Like, that's the different dynamic. Basically, like I was saying, how, you know, we can't, or, you know, I can't sit here, or anybody else for that matter, say exactly like you said, well, because you got a Black business, we should go support it. Like you said, it's trash. And that's a point that I kind of touched on, but I didn't go in depth like you did. So I'm glad you went on that. Because that's what I mean. That's why I'm saying I don't come across as saying that, because I sound like I'm talking about everybody else when I say, just because you're Black, you're supposed to help me out. So no, I agree with that 100%. Yeah, we have to look into the business. That's why I said, you know, at the top is research, do your investigation. If the person is legitimate and they got good customer service, then we should support them. But yeah, by no means go off of that. But that's my point, where we kind of double-edged sword with that, where we're supposed to support each other because we Black. So that's the kind of mentality I'm saying that we have with each other is, even though we not got a good business, oh, you're supposed to help me out because we brothers, man. We're supposed to help each other out, knowing that our business might not be up to par. So that's the other part that I'm saying that I have a problem with when I mean just because we Black, we supposed to help each other. I'm gonna give you an example too. Again, I'm at Pizza Hut. This is about a month ago, and I'm sitting in the parking lot, and you know how you wait, because I went to dine in. It was like 20 minutes. So I'm sitting in the truck. And he's a homeless dude, brother. He comes up, yo, brother, man, can you help me out, man? I'm trying to eat. I said, hold on a second, hold on. Let me see what I got. He couldn't wait. He got impatient. He walked off. And I heard him mumbling something on his breath. Oh, punk ass motherfucker. He comes back. Punk ass Black motherfucker don't want to help me out, man. You sorry ass. I'm like, really? I was just about to give you some money, but you couldn't even wait. And then another brother comes, get out the car. He asked him, yo, brother, you think you can help? Get away from me, man. I got money for you. Go get a job. So I'm sitting here like, wow. I'm laughing like, see, that's funny how you get two different dynamics. I was actually going to pay him, but then he started calling me out. Oh, you supposed to help me out because I'm a brother. You see, I'm struggling. So immediately, because he's Black, I'm supposed to help him out. And then he gets mad at me when I was actually going to do that. But the other brother sees him, and he's the one that was rude and disrespectful and told him, you sorry ass, go get a job. So it's just funny. That's what I mean when I say that's how we are in all dynamics. It's like we see each other and we expect each other to help each other at the wrong time. If we got good business, or if we have bad business, then we expect everybody that's Black to support each other. So it's so many dynamics, and I know, it's like you said, it's not easy to fix, and we do acknowledge it. But that's my biggest problem why I had this topic today is, and I'm not saying we're gonna have a solution today, just acknowledging people, holding everybody accountable. If we know it, what are we going to do? So what I'm going to do, and I actually said this last year, but I'm going to do it now because Felicia, my girlfriend, I appreciate her. She gave me a book. It is called Black History 365 Days. So it's all about Black history that we have done over in the years past. And it's not just February, it's the whole year. So literally each day of the calendar, it has something that we did. So every month, starting next month, I'm going to post something we did, just putting it out there just to show that, hey, we are successful. And I know a lot of us know that, but again, that's going to be my accountability to show that this is how we support each other, is by sharing and saying, hey, look, we are powerful people. We have done a lot. This is why we need to still help each other and believe in each other. The ones that's doing right, that's doing good businesses, not just trash businesses, just to say they got a business. And like you said, that is a lot of that on both sides. Now, the other part of this conversation, and you might speak on this, Matt, because you're more into spirituality. I'm still getting into it. And Felicia told me this also. This is the year of awakenings, year of the Aquarius. So everybody is awoke now. So, or awakening. Now, Arian Spears said this, and I watched him because the little podcast that Shannon Sharp had, it broke records of viewing. And he said
like 50 million.
Yeah, he said the problem with Black folks is we love drama.
I seen that.
I saw that podcast. With Shannon Sharp, everybody hit the Twitter and the internet, and everybody just chiming in. And he said it's funny how we love the negative drama, and even Marlon Wayans. I like what he had to say. He said the same thing. He said we're the only race that find ways to put each other down. And just disrespect each other. Now, I'm not going to sit there and say we all got to get along. We all have our differences. But like he said, now, it's two sides to me with this. I think part of it is entertainment. I really think it's publicity stunts. I honestly think that it may be true, but they know if they put it out there, people are going to buy into it. And usually they trying to push something that's happening. The same thing with Jada Pinkett, how she just threw Will Smith under the bus with that book. Why would you put that out there knowing that that's going to detriment his career and just make him look bad? I'm like, and you doing all that, just get a book. And guess what? Her book was selling like crazy. So I think part of it is the publicity stunt. Sometimes Hollywood, you can't really buy into it. Because I watched the podcast with Shannon Sharp and Cat Williams. Now, one lady said, and I agree, a few people said this, so what? If these not so what, but he got an attitude because Steve Harvey stole his joke. And he even said, man, this was 30-some years ago, 20. Why are you bringing it up 20 years later? Like, why is it bothering you now? We don't know the whole story, but it's just the fact that he decided to get on a podcast and get well-known 50 million to watch this so he could downgrade all these brothers and call them all out. And guess what? He's on tour right now. So I think it's a publicity stunt. But it's still, why do we put each other at this cost to, again, like I was saying earlier, to better ourselves? Now, to me, we all have issues. Like I said, back when I was working at True Fit, I was working in a gym. And to speak on the part when he was talking about Steve Harvey and Cedric stealing his jokes, I had a trainer, co-worker that worked with me. We didn't care for each other. It was a brother. We was competitive. So it was a friendly competitiveness, but he did train his way. So he thought he was the best trainer. I had a little ego, so I thought I was doing what I was doing. So I left to go, I think it was the year of Super Bowl. We went to the Super Bowl, and I had one of my clients go train with him. And he talking mad crap about me. I got better workouts than him, and I'm going to show you this, and I'm going to do this. And then when I came back, she told me he was doing a lot of workouts he saw you doing, because he'll watch me do workouts with my clients. And I always had some slick stuff to say about it, like trying to undermine it. Like, why would you do that? What's the point of that? But then with one of my clients, he takes her and does somewhat the same training, but changed it up to make it look like it was his own little creativeness. And when I came back, she told me he was trying to do the same stuff you was doing. But I really like the way you do it, because the way he was doing, he was a little cocky about it. So the point I'm making is I could have went on social media, because we both had social media, and dogged him out and said, oh, this dude sucked. He ain't a good trainer. And I don't like the way he do that, but I didn't do that. I confronted him face to face, man to man, like, yo, I don't appreciate you disrespecting me with one of my clients. If you feel some type of way, we need to discuss this as two men, not not do it behind my
Mm-hmm.
back. So that's where I'm going with this. Is that's why I say going on podcasts and dogging each other out for what? Like if you have a problem, and I think one of the actual celebrities said, just call me. You got my number. So what you gonna put me out there on blast for on social media doesn't make sense because all you're doing is disrespecting yourself and me. And mom used to say this, and my old boss Rufus that taught me a lot about life when I was his manager assistant. He said, when you go out in public, you represent yourself, and not only yourself, you represent your whole race. Especially if you're around a bunch of them and it's just you and you acting out. And unfortunately, we all do it. People will judge you and assume, not
Mm-hmm.
saying there's a right, but people assume that's how the whole race is, especially if they didn't grow up with them and they don't be around them. And all they know is what they see on TV and what they see in public. So if you acting out and you disrespecting each other, why would you expect them to treat you any different when you're doing it to your own? I'm a firm believer in that. If you're gonna disrespect me in public, why am I getting mad at this dude when he disrespect me when you just did the same thing? Like what makes you
Mm-hmm.
better to disrespect him than when other guys do it? So that's my problem with that, and we the only ones that do it. You know, I'm sure white folks have problems and Asians and all that, but I don't see it nearly as much. They do it, but not at the way we do it. I mean, from sports to movie, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like we all get on media and do it. And I get
Mm-hmm.
this is the era where it's easy to put it out there. That's an excuse to me because you can still avoid that. I had two friends. My daughter don't even have social media. My oldest, and I'm proud of her because I'm like, really? And I'm thinking she's young. She's one like the rest of the young generation. She said, I don't get into all that. And I respect that because she know because she had problems in
Mm-hmm.
the past. So that's why I can't use that as an excuse where, oh, well, it's access, it's easy to do it. I get that. But again, you got to hold yourselves accountable. And that's where I'm at with these celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you look at Will Smith, all that's coming out by him, I was like, he having a bad year ever since he slapped Chris Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Did he? It's just crazy what's going on with that dude. I'm like, they coming for him. But I don't know how much of it is true. But again, if he's all that, people still gonna go buy his records or do what buy his cologne. He has the liquor. People still buying it. Now, if
Mm-hmm.
you're a firm believer and you don't support somebody in the actions that they do, I get it. I respect that. But I'm pretty sure it's still gonna be people that's gonna follow him and do the stuff regardless what's all out there in social media. Jamie Foxx, you haven't heard about him, so it's just weird that all these celebrities are coming out saying all this stuff, and it's like I call it the first person on dance floor syndrome. You
Mm-hmm.
know, when nobody want to get on the dance floor until
Mm-hmm.
you see that first person, and then everybody come running out there. It's the same thing. Now everybody coming out talking about all this stuff about Diddy and all these people starting to come out and talk about Will Smith. Like if he's like that, dude already built his career. Why throw him under the bus now? If you know that, just keep it to yourself. But that's where I feel like it's a publicity stunt. It is just
Mm-hmm.
to get media because we all love it. Obviously, I'm talking about it, so we get caught up into it.
Yeah. Well, it's like I said, that's still a lot to unpack. And it's funny because I was talking to somebody about the same thing, and I was hot. I was like irritated. I was like, it makes no sense. He could have easily went on Shannon Sharp and talked about something positive.
Right.
But I still believe it stems from I know you don't like that word programming, but the whole Willie Lynch and Jim Crow.
Yeah.
And to me, the biggest root of it is religion. And when Christianity was forced on black people, and in every church, in every home almost, there was a picture of a white Jesus. And this is psychologically. If anybody sees an image that you see as a God that is your supreme, you're never going to come against it.
Right.
So, and then not only that, you're being taught and told that anything that's black is bad. So subconsciously, you're already thinking that white is good, that God is white. So why should I go against anything else other than, they're supposed to be considered great or good? So it's a psychological thing, one, along with other programming. And I thought about this. I was listening to you talk, and I was just sitting here thinking, that's one of the things that I loved about the military is I was able to go to different places, and every other country has the same issues. Mm-hmm. But again, because they're purposely trying to keep us in a low vibration, so they're intentionally advertising the negativity that we put against each other. And that's what the one brother Orlando was saying. Like, there's white people that's doing it too, but they're not going to publicize it because they don't want they don't want their people to start getting the same low vibration that we have when it comes to stuff like that. So they still want to put us out there as, look, they're negative. All they do is hate on each other. They're evil. They're mean people. They're animals. So in a sense, we're doing it to ourselves. Mm-hmm. And it's like you said, it's self-responsibility. Why are people taking it and posting it and talking about it? And I watched the one thing with the Pivot, and they was giving the one brother, the football player, hell because he said he didn't know who Simone Biles was. And I was like, I think that was the dumbest thing. I mean, people going in on this brother talking about he think he's good, and this black women dogging him out. And I'm like, here we go again. We back at each other over nonsense. I said, how many black people, these same black people that was worrying about he don't know who Simone Biles is, how many of them know anything about a positive black person that did something in history? Exactly. I can give a damn about Simone Biles. She ain't doing nothing for us as a culture, as a people, other than going to Olympics, performing a profession that she does. Yeah. Now, this is nothing to disrespect or anything like that, but I'm just saying, like, we're so caught up in stuff that don't have no influence on our personal lives or any impact on us, and that's what we're focused on. Right. So that's what frustrates me and irritates me. But and then again, it goes back to, like I always say, the whole intention is to keep everybody in a low vibration. So all this stuff, the negativity, the back and forth, all that stuff is low vibrational stuff. So for me, the best way to elevate over that is to raise your vibration and frequency and don't even let that stuff affect you. And that's why I continue to call it programming, because people are still programmed to be in a low vibration. They're not ascending to their higher selves, and none of this stuff would matter. For Black people, that stuff matters. Recognition matters. Wealth matters. Status matters. Material stuff matters. That's all low vibrational stuff. So as long as we stay in that low vibrational mind state, which is never going to change. And as much as people say we awaken and people are awakening, I don't see it. Yeah. Because you hear about it and you speak on it, don't mean that you awaken. To me, awaken is turning from it and actually moving forward and ascending to where you're supposed to be. I don't care less if you posting stuff and that doesn't mean anything. You're just taking something and reposting. It's copy and pasting. That's all you're doing. Yeah. So I'm like, your life or the person's life is going to determine if that person is truly awakened. Right. No longer adhering to low vibrational stuff, entertaining that stuff, then you know that person is awakened. Posting stuff and that don't mean a damn thing. And I sit back and I was like, wow, all these people think they're awake because they're posting stuff and they're talking about it. If your life has not changed and you're no longer affected by that stuff, it means nothing. And for me, that's what the solution is to turn away from the stuff that was forced on us, the false religions and stuff like that, and find out what we are naturally supposed to follow. Once we do that, then things is going to change. As long as we're still following Christianity, and I know there's people out there it's going to be butthurt, I don't care. I'm giving you the truth. I know the truth, and I'm going to speak it. Well, it's my truth. People may believe it's my truth, but it's the truth. And to me, that's what's going to keep us in that same state. Until that changes, it's not gonna be any different. And I'm gonna say this, and I want to end my little rant. That's what I was going back to before when I said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Is we have to recognize that.
Yeah.
Until then, how what's the name said? Umar Johnson, I think his name is.
Yeah, that's his name. Yeah.
He called it intellectual masturbation. He said that's all we doing, intellectual masturbation.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you're right. 100. Yeah. But see, I'm just going to echo what you just said about the poster. Now, this is where I agree with you, but I'm gonna slide right. And I said this too, about, and I be telling Felicia this, and the guy at work, is he's trying to get all into it now. And I say the same thing. That's why I always say I'm still learning. I'm still on the journey on the spirituality and learning about the low vibration and all that. And like you said, I say the same thing. Anybody that speaks on it but don't practice it or show why they believe that, to me, it's just you talking just to look impressive or sound impressive. But like you said, this is my point that I'm making about the celebrities, is it was a few celebrities on there that spoke and said the same thing you said. And basically they said they doing what you're saying, where they're speaking it, but they're not practicing it. Because one guy was saying how they trying to keep us in a low vibration, but we need to stop doing this. Well, you're doing it anyway, so how are you really acknowledging it if you're still doing it? Like, you can't diss somebody to say,
right,
oh, they trying to keep us in a low vibration, but you're acting on it. So that's the problem that I have, and I'm kind of reiterating the same thing. Is it's the ones that are getting on these shows and speaking on it, but they one of the ones that was talking smack. So to me, can we change this? We can, but it's partly like you just said. We have to ascend to our better selves and realize that this ain't doing nothing but making ourselves look like, I don't want to say idiots, but in a sense, yeah. And what is it doing to benefit each other? What are we doing to better ourselves? So yeah, at some point it's going to have to stop. I'm just hoping it'll be soon. If it don't, then like Mom used to say, I'm proud to be Black and I'm gonna live my life the best I can, but I can't worry about all the other ones. We had a good talk right before she passed when I took her to Atlantic City, and she was saying that. She's like, "Don't get me wrong, Mark. I love my Black people, but they are disappointing right now. But
yeah.
I'm proud of being Black. I'm never going to disown that, but I can't do nothing to change them. So what can I do?" And I was like, "I hear you, Mom. I understand what you're saying on that point." And sometimes I be feeling like that. Like, what can I really do to change? All I could do is, Jay say this, all I could do is tell you, but it's just something I want to talk about today and put it out there because it's, it wasn't bothering me, but I just was curious to get feedback on it. Of course, from you and other viewers that, was actually, watching it, because I feel like it could be fixed. I'm not saying it's going to be 100%, but it's so many of us that's recognizing it and saying that we need to stop doing it, but we still not doing nothing about it. And that's where that's my disconnect. But at the end of the day, yeah, we all have to be true to ourselves and do right for ourselves and right by others, and treat each other with respect and help each other, again, if they are doing it the right way. Not just because they're a brother or a sister. Oh, I'm gonna help y'all because you're Black. If you're doing good and you're doing everything the right way, you got my support. Because I feel like that's the way it should be. There's nothing wrong with that. So, we should do that, help each other out. But yeah, so the other thing I was going to say too, this is kind of going off to the left to speak on what these celebrities were saying. That one thing he did say that I was kind of curious about your opinion is when he was speaking about the powers that be, when he was talking about the thing with Ludacris. And how he was funny because he said he was in there with him. So obviously you was thinking about doing it. They just didn't pick you because you say that you didn't do what they said do. So to me, he's just a pawn or a pawn, if you play chess, to put in there to discredit Black folks. And I think they got to him and said, we're going to use you. And what you need to do is get on this podcast and discredit these Black powerful leaders and put them under the bus and make them look bad. So I'm questioning his integrity on what his intentions behind that, besides building his tour, because he's on tour right now. So now everybody going to see him. So I think it's two agendas that dude had. One, because I do believe in that, the powers that be, or whatever the club, as Ice Cube calls it. But I really
The
think they
gatekeepers.
got to him. Yeah. They got to him and they said, we're going to use you, but the only way you're going to get your fame back is you got to throw these certain people under the bus. But he was just naming too many names. Not to be all into the drama of it, but I'm still got to dig into it and see what's the intent. Like, what was your accomplishment besides discrediting all these black people? To me, it's some hidden agenda. So I think that he might be caught up in it too, because when he said me and Lou was this, that mean your goofy behind was trying to come up too. So how we know you're not doing it now, but your way of getting in initiation is to just throw all these powerful actors under the bus. Just a thought, but yeah, like you said, I won't get caught up into that, huh?
Yeah, I know you just say you don't want to get caught up into it, but that's the powerful thing, and I'm gonna call it what it is energy. Is because the best way to neutralize it is to, what's the word that they always say? You take it, and I can't think of it, and you basically use it to your advantage. You manipulate it, and that's what alchemy is. Alchemists, they can take the energy, whether it's negative or positive, they use it to their benefit, and they use it for positivity. So even the fact that if not just you or me, but if anybody, if they look at it and they get upset, you're still affected by it negatively. So that's still lowering your vibration, because anything, frustration, hate, bitterness, loneliness, sadness, depression, all that stuff is low vibration. So if you're impacted by that stuff in that way, then you're still not really being an influence. Even though we're speaking about it and we're talking about it, in a sense, we're still taking that energy and passing it on in a negative way, even though we're speaking positive about it in our minds, but it's still taking that energy and still pushing it out. So the best way to neutralize that is to say, you know what? I'm not even going to accept it. I reject it. I'm going to be the best version of me, and I'm going to push out positivity. And when I'm in the room with somebody, somebody's going to see that, and the people that's going to gravitate to it, that's on that same level, is going to, they're going to gravitate to you. So to me, that's the best way to neutralize it and to change, is to, I can't think of the word, but it's to just basically take that energy and turn it into positive energy opposed to negative energy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's a hell of a point. That is a good point. Yeah. I would say same thing, but I would say just ignore it and don't let it affect you. Because like you said, if it's not directly affecting me, even though it bothers me, I just move on. But yeah, so that was just more to talk about it, because I wanted to correlate that to as us as Black people support each other. But my intentions of this was more or less just, I guess, personal situations that happened. And it did bother me, obviously. That's why I'm on here. But yeah, it's just that because I sit and I watch. I'm a people watcher in a sense where I just to learn, not to talk about each other.
That's it.
But
transmute.
Just get an understanding. Huh?
I'm sorry, that was the word I was looking for. Transmute. Transmute the energy.
Okay, transmute. Yeah. Okay. So basically, that's why it got to me, because I watch us and I see how we interact with each other, and I watch how we interact with other races. And it just, like I said, it just amazed me how we act so different. But you hit the nail on the head when you was talking about the Christ and in the worshiping, and how we do fear to go against him, but we turn on ourselves real quick, or disrespect or rob for ourselves, each other, or whatever the case, because we have no fear, more hate towards the other person, our own.
Yeah, so, you're always going to step on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I say you're always going to step on what you perceive to be weak and inferior and not worth anything. So that's how we see ourselves. We see ourselves as unworthy and worthless. So it's easier for us to dog each other out than anybody else, because that's how we see each other. That's how we see ourselves. So it's the famous saying, as within is without. How you treat people is basically how you feel about yourself.
Yeah, exactly. That was it. Yeah. Because I'm gonna share one more thing. And again, I'm just decompressing. So I was at the gym this morning, and that was my I was really like, yeah, this is what's driving me crazy with this, is I'm recording my workouts. And a big brother walks by, looks at me, and starts laughing and just shakes his head. And then another guy, Hispanic dude, walks up. Yo, bro, what are you doing, man? Are you what do you say? Are you influencer? I said, no, well, a little bit of both. I said, I record myself because I like watching my form to correct myself because this helps you better than you by yourself. Man, that's so neat. I need to start doing that. And I see you in the gym all the time. And I just want to say, keep it up. And you look like you're really into it. Like giving me all the respect. But again, brother, now I'm only assuming, but when he looked and laughed, come on, he looked directly at me. It is just funny how, and you just said it, I guess he looked at this as a weakness or he think he all that. It's just funny how we do that to each other and don't even know each other and do that. And then there's another race sometimes that bothers me. And I'm like I said, I'm in a city where it's not that many of us. So I get to see the difference, how they tend to have more respect towards us than we have towards ourselves. But that goes back to, like you were saying, self-respect, self-love, not knowing and understanding. So, but I just wanted to share that again, on the situations that happens. But you made a good point. It's all about not letting that get to you. And I'm work in progress. That's something that I'm still in the process of trusting STS and knowing that, I can't let that get to me and just, do the best to be the best of myself. I help who I can along the way, but if you ain't getting on the bus and see you, that's kind of not the right positive attitude, but can't get too worried about too many that don't want to, help themselves. So.
Yeah. So the best thing I can say is we just got to stay strong. Because it's obvious that the intention is to try to break us, and they've been trying to break us for years, centuries, decades, millenniums, and it still haven't happened. We still have our struggles and we have our issues, but it's like I was saying earlier, the intention is to oversaturate us with that image to constantly feed our subconscious, so we're constantly thinking, okay, this is our fate. It's just, that's what it is, and that's not what it is. We have to see past that and see what the trick is and what the plan is and what the intention is. And my thing is, how could they don't say it much as they said it before, but it was always we were the dumbest, we was the lowest race or whatever. If that was the case, if we were the dumbest, the lowest, and not the worthiest, why is there so much effort into trying to destroy us?
Exactly.
So if I see something that's not a challenge to me, not even on my level, I ain't gonna even mess with it. I'm gonna walk right by. I'm gonna go against the one that's a challenge for me. So that right there tells you to tell people something, So I just it's still a work in progress. I still believe religion is the biggest reason. Until we get past that hurdle, I believe that's when things will change. Once we realize who we are, then that's when things is going to change. And until then, and like I said, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just looking at it from a realistic aspect from my eyes, and I don't see it.
Yeah, it's going to be hard because, like, right now, I think you said it, man. You're right. You got me thinking. I'm just sitting here thinking. I know you said don't buy into it, but I'm buying into it for a simple fact is I see what is going on because you heard it. You heard of Breakfast Club, right?
Yeah.
And they got something going on with Charlemagne. Now I think they're really trying to target all the celebrities to break us down, to have us feel in a certain way and really lose confidence in, not that they are, but somewhat the public eye as the successful black powerful people, because Tyler Perry's thrown under the bus. I don't know if you heard about Oprah Winfrey. and
Yeah.
what she's been doing. So it's just so much. I think it's the agenda is the next part of the agenda is going forward.
Hmm.
They targeting the black image celebrities to really have that divide and conquer. You
Hmm.
know, because that is just crazy. I was just thinking about that right now. But Denzel said something. He used like a religious term, but it's I like the analogy of it because I follow him. He is a good, power, speaker, But he said the devil don't mess with the person that's doing bad.
Hmm.
He don't worry about him. He goes after the one that is trying to do right. That's the one he gonna mess with. Not the person that's doing bad. That's his advocate. That's the one that's doing what
Hmm.
he's doing. Yeah, I don't gotta mess with him. He's doing my job for me. I want to mess with the one that's doing everything the right way. So I need to tear him down because this is too much positivity. So I just, when you said that just now, it just resonated with me. That kind of not the same thing you said, but in a sense, you know what I mean. So it just made me think about that, and that's true when I sit there and think about that. So
All right. See,
yeah.
he about to get me started.
What you
Uh, because the contradiction in the whole devil
well,
and
yeah.
God thing is like people think I was lying, but I literally read the entire Bible when I was deployed back to back. So I'm not trying to say I'm this savant with the Bible or anything like that. But I really took it serious when I was, on that path. And one of the things that it spoke about is the devil cannot come against anything that's truly of God.
Right.
So when you said that, he made that statement. The devil knows that if that's the true child of God, he can't touch it. So he can't come anything close to it. So he's not going to challenge it because he don't have any strength.
Right.
He's not strong enough to challenge or defeat it.
Right.
Because you're supposed to have the same spirit that God is, who God is supposed to be within you. So if you're walking with that, and you're walking with that power, God is not going to tempt you or attempt to come after you because you're as powerful as God, because you have God dwelling within you. So that whole concept of, for me, that the devil only messes with people that really don't know. Because if you're truly walking with power, he ain't gonna come close to you. The best way I can look at it is if you had a bright light, are you gonna go to the bright light and it's blinding you, or are you gonna go to where it's dark? You're like, oh damn, whew, man, that light was killing me, boy. At least I can see. Yeah. That's how I see it. So that makes sense to me. Like, again, it's like the whole thing with us. I'm not challenging something that I know that can defeat me, and I know its origin. I know I have no chance. So why would I attempt to mess with that opposed to messing with something that I know I can dominate? So it's just everything is reversed. And that's why I said religion is the sole reason why we are in the situation that we're in. Until we realize that and realize everything is about energy, then they're totally 360. And I'm confident in that 100%. So I'm just going to do my little closing. So beautiful people, like I said, I know it's somebody out there that's probably in Christianity and they probably have pushback or whatever. This is my belief. Like I said, I know my truth. I know the truth. I'm going to speak on the truth. And to basically close on the topic that we're talking about as far as support. We definitely need to support each other in every aspect, because in this construct that we're currently living in order for us to survive and maintain, we have to support each other. But for me, I'm only going to support something that's going to be positivity, that's positive, that's putting out good stuff. I'm not going to just support it just because the same color as I am, but you're pushing out negativity and what you're pushing out is straight trash. I'm just not going to support it. So that's my closing.
Yeah, so I'm going to close somewhat. It's going to sound like damn twins talking the same thing. But I'm the same thing on that as far as the business thing. We need to support each other 100. So when I say that, just as Matt just stated, if you're doing it the right way, I don't support anybody that's doing anything negative, trying to hurt anyone, or they just trying to come up and take advantage of the one that's seeing that. If you're doing everything the right way, we as a people need to support each other and know that we're doing right. We can, grow in a sense or even a better culture. So we're not perfect, but at the end of the day, why disrespect each other? If we got issues with each other, keep that in house. I'm a firm believer. If you got a quarrel with somebody else, keep that in house. Communicate with each other. We don't need to put ourselves on blast just to get some kind of limelight. So not everybody, but the ones that are, we could do better, and I feel like we will. But we just need to have ourselves self-evaluation, look us deep within ourselves, and understand that what am I doing, like you said earlier, to better myself, or what am I doing to help someone else to better them? If not, then just let it go. On that note, guys, STS. I always like to say that I'm a personal trainer, but that's in any aspect of life. Whatever you're trying to do, you stay focused, trust your process, and most of all, stay consistent. That was a good topic today. I hope that everybody enjoyed it. And I'll be looking forward to next week, what we got next week.
Okay. All right. So, beautiful people, as always, like, subscribe, share if you can, comment if you can, and check us out on Spotify on Wednesdays. Repost it again on Facebook Live. I'm sorry, Facebook. Again on YouTube on Wednesday. Continue to do your best. Continue to ascend. Your thoughts becomes your belief, and your belief becomes your reality and your manifestation. Until Friday, we'll be back on Friday. We got another guest coming on. All right. So y'all be good. Much love and peace.
Yeah.